episode 5.
Who's the goal, Ronaldo or Messi?
No, I'm not doing that. Welcome. Actually, I have to say, it's nice to be next to you in person.
Yeah, we haven't met each other in around 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah,
So
we just figured out we wanted to do this on Zoom. We never met once, and met for the first time here, so it's cool to you talk in person.
yeah, it's definitely not just that we're using different chairs. Well, actually, I'm taller than you the way, but I think when we kind of sit
Barely
down,
though.
when you sit, no, let's not do
I
that.
mean, historically I've always been very short, but now getting
And your
taller.
your
I'm not
hair
quite used to it.
and your hair is like 4 inches,
Oh,
and my
maybe.
hair is like a centimeter.
It could be longer as well. Like, yeah. But anyway,
But I'm alpha, so it doesn't really matter how how tall or short we are.
that's only because like I've been shorter than you for so long that I'm just so used to just you little broing me and stuff. Even though
Yeah,
now it's fairly similar. Like we're basically the same size.
I'm like
What are you, 5'10"? Well,
I'm 6 feet tall, and
you're not 6 feet tall.
I'm 6 feet tall, and I weigh like three of you. So
If you're 6 feet tall, then I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm not 6 feet tall.
let's
Anyway,
leave this for another fucking day, man. Damn, I swore already.
yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna demonetize this, but we move. Episode 5, though. We're kind of doing it. We're back. It's been a while, but just move past it.
Yeah, some kind of what's that thing called? Some kind of interesting thing. I'm not sure you heard about. It's called the European Super League. It's been in the news again for the 27th time.
Super League, man. How do you, like, are you as scared as before? Like, I remember when we were talking when it first came out,
Yeah.
we were terrified. Because obviously the news that, the way the ECJ ruled in their favor. Are you scared, or how do you feel about that? Like,
In terms of how I feel personally about the Super League, I do not care anymore. The way I see things is I see football as an unsustainable model,
mhm.
and there was going to be a change in some way at some point, whether it was European Super League or whatever it was.
Okay.
Any way to give the top dogs getting money to generate revenue,
Yeah.
something was going to happen. So because I already know that, and I've known that it's not a shock anymore,
Yeah.
I've given up the hope of equality, I guess, in a more socialistic view of the game. The grassroots is being taken out of the game.
Jesus.
So I know that already. So at this point now, every single bit of news is just like the downfall will happen eventually, whether it's now or in 10 years' time or 20 or 30 years' time. So I don't really care anymore.
Well, before we get into all that, and we will, I just want to shout out to Apple TV and that Super League doc that they put out like top of this year.
Can you stop flexing up Apple TV?
I feel so vindicated for watching that. Do you know what I love about Apple TV though? Just really quickly, like their interface. It's so slick and sexy. Class. But yeah, that doc it was up there with the FIFA one when they were, when they were this scandal.
There's a Netflix.
That was a Netflix
Yeah, I
one.
watched that
We
one,
saw
yeah.
that. We talked about that a lot. It's similar to that one in the sense that obviously it had like all the people involved. The FIFA one, I don't think Sepp Blatter was in it, which was annoying. No, he was at the end. Yeah, he was. That was a great thing. But yeah, but the Apple one had everyone in it. Like Nelly,
All the main
Perez.
characters.
You had Stefan on one side, and he was scrambling, trying to, because they followed him, or they reenacted it. They followed him coming to terms with the news in real time, and he was just trying to figure out what was going on, and it was so funny. He looked awful. He looked like a mess. And he was trying to get Agnelli on the phone, and he just was airing. It was bad. I felt so bad for him. But yeah, you had Stefan on that side, obviously president of UEFA.
Yeah.
We we're pretty much on that side. And then you had Perez and Agnelli trying to get the Super League thing off the ground. They were really spearheading it.
Yeah.
And their thing was that, young people aren't following football.
I'm young. I don't follow football, so.
Well, the young people aren't really interested in football anymore, and
TikTok generation, baby.
TikTok as well. So they were from that perspective, and they were trying to, I guess, make football sexier and more appealing to those people. Fuck them kids, though.
Fuck them kids.
And their thing was obviously, we want all the big teams to be playing all the time to make it more attractive, but that's a whole other thing of whether that's sustainable, whether that's like really attractive, like properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was their thing.
But what was the recent news? Because today is what the 22nd.
Yeah.
Friday 22nd of December, and yesterday there was a proposal for a new Super League, but that obviously comes after the court ruling.
Yeah.
Of last week.
Yeah. So the European Court of Justice they ruled in favor of the Super League because they appealed UEFA and FIFA's actions of how they basically condemned all the clubs who were associated with it, threatening to ban them from their leagues and stuff like that. So the ECJ they deemed that as unlawful, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting that they went to them instead of the actual sports body. But
I don't understand that one.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what the ECJ ruled. Let me see what else. And so the ECJ ruled in their favor, and that prompted the Super League to bring out their new and improved format.
Ooh, sounds fancy. What was it?
Well, I'll read it out to you now. So there'll be 64 clubs in 3 different tiers: Star, Gold, and Blue.
Oh, Star! I like stars.
Star, Gold, and Blue.
I like stars. I like gold as well. I like blue. I support Chelsea. That's blue. It sounds really exciting to me.
I feel like Star and Gold is sort of like a conflict. Isn't that kind of too similar?
That's way too similar. And then blue is completely out of this.
And then blue is just so random.
It's so random. But continue.
Sorry.
I don't know more about this.
Those are your 3 tiers. So Star and Gold will consist of 16 clubs each, while Blue will include 32. So they're expanding it. Well done.
Yeah, but it kind of like ironically defeats the purpose of having big teams, and it's like all of a sudden Everton are going to be playing Rayo Vallecano, and it's like
okay, but let's go step by step.
Okay.
So, how are you feeling now? More clubs.
I think overall this is better, but it's like a piece of shit and a piece of shit that has a bit of gold on it, and has a star and blue. Don't got those other ones.
I'm not gonna lie, like it's still like hard to wrap my head around the way like they want this to be football.
Yeah.
Like they don't, domestic league, Champions League, they want this to be football. So
yeah.
It's hard for me to even. Okay, we'll keep going. Clubs will play in groups of 8 and will face 7 other teams, both home and away. Okay, so
that makes sense.
Cool. And knockout stage will determine the champions of each league.
Yes.
Knockout stage, that's pretty standard.
Essentially, the Conference League, Europa League, Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. So 20 of the 32 clubs in the Blue League will leave the competition altogether. So 20 of the 32.
Yeah, completely replaced.
So a relegation system.
Where most of the league get relegated.
Yeah. The finalists of the Gold and Blue League will replace the bottom 2 clubs in the league above. So you get to replace each other.
That sounds like promotion.
So less American. Well,
yeah.
Went from really American to
Canadian.
Okay. Yeah. Then participation based on sporting merit with no permanent members. I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess there'll be no permanent members, but.
I mean, yeah, really, but that's life.
Rare are going to be in that forever. All games will be free to air. Now that's something. In fairness,
that is something.
So will they all be on YouTube or what? Like
with like 19 ad breaks in the middle to make up for the lack of money.
Yeah.
But let me add one thing that you didn't add. Mm-hmm. All games will be played during the week. So every single game will be a late game. All night games, no day games or afternoon game, which sounds like a small deal, but for me that's a huge deal because I like the mixture of different aesthetics. But who am I?
Like as I was watching that doc and hearing these people just blurt out their agendas, it made me realize that, and mainly you brought this home to me because I just put 2 and 2 together. You mainly said this, like this, it feels like this was always going to happen with the way our sport is and the way the world is in general. It feels like this sort of thing is inevitable because I just feel like in everything, people are just striving for more and more, trying to improve on everything. Growth is king. Like
Yeah.
the way, especially the way transfers is. We saw this like simple little graphic of the way transfers are going like in football. Obviously, it's inflated.
Yeah.
And
but it's not just the inflation, because even if the levels weren't so high,
yeah,
it's that by definition and by the way football works, one fee must increase every single year. No matter what point you're at, since fees have been introduced to football, it increases every single year, and it must.
Yeah.
Like it has no other choice to.
Yeah.
Because if you sign somebody for say 10 million, and you realize another player is better than that player was for 10 million, the entire market must now go over 10 million to get that player. There is no other option. Once a player outperforms another player who has a certain price tag, they must go for more money.
Yeah.
And this will happen again and again and again and again for the rest of eternity.
Especially if Club A is really susceptible to be paying large amounts of money for players.
Yeah.
So football keeps growing. So all these clubs are getting richer owners. It's increasing to at an incredible rate, and that's why I feel like this was something like this was always going to happen. And it's just, and rather than letting this pod just be a rant session of Super League is terrible, all that. Like I want to address that football and say that's in now, it needs to change. Like football needs to change,
and it's needed, and it's always needed to change. It was because the world needs to change, but that's a whole other thing. But once the sport went professional, it went through the traditional models of how we run businesses, and then it started giving its own sporting aspects into it and made it a complete mess. It's been like this for decades and decades now. But we'll be kicking it down the can down the road. And the longer and longer it goes on, the more and more the numbers don't even stack up and nothing makes any sense anymore. Like some of the things that happen, because in the world in general, we have a problem with inflation and growth and this kind of neoliberal market. Not to say that's bad or anything, but it promotes growth, and growth can't, by definition, growth is growth, and it can't stop at any point. It must keep on going to the point where it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Football is at a whole nother level to this, to global economics. If a financial consultant came to look at football for the first time, they would go crazy. Looking at all the things they would say, the first thing they would look at teams and be, okay, what did you do the first time? Okay, so you have an academy player. His value is around £40 million. You send that player on loan, sign a player for £40 million, put him on a 5-year contract. By the time your loanee, your young player, comes back to the team, he's out of the team because of the £40 million player ahead of him. So he then goes on loan again while you're paying his wages. Then he gets sold, and he gets sold for a fee that's around a tenth of the price. So your team has literally thrown away £40 million just because that's what they must do. They're so, like, I think that's a one small minuscule example out of around 700 to 800.
I'm an accountant. I walk in, I look at the team's books. What do you mean that you have a player that you signed for 70 odd million and he's on £350 a week, £350,000 a week,
which is disgusting.
£350,000 a week. What do you mean?
That's more money that we make doing this, almost.
Just about.
Literally.
Just about, yeah. With our 4 episodes out.
Yeah.
What do you mean that you're not playing this incredible asset because you had a disagreement with him, or
I disagreed about all this.
He won't say sorry to you.
He won't. Yeah, I'm not gonna name names. We all know who this guy is.
I mean, he won't apologize publicly. Sorry.
A certain guy with a shortest hair follicles. I'm not saying anything against him, but just in general.
But I'm not even advocating for
him to
Sancho. I'm talking about Sancho.
Yeah, but
not advocating for him to play or for
It's the concept of someone signing for £80 million, £90 million, and they don't play, and the value just goes. You're signing assets that have no like like credit ratings and like where you invest. These assets literally don't have like no what's the word like their value is volatile.
Mhm.
A player is £80 million.
Week to week, on a week to week.
It works week to week.
Pretty much.
One day, one player is world class. The next day, they have a bad game. They're not even good anymore. One day, this £50 million player is actually worth £100 million. The next week, he's worth nothing, and he's a liability
But
to
they're
have.
paid the same.
And the fact that
weekly,
those
are players really getting paid weekly?
I don't
like. Is that like that's just something we just say and it just rolls off? And obviously, it probably is true. But like, are they actually though?
I think that's how they describe it. I'm not sure if they actually get paid weekly. Now that's how they describe it. Maybe
pay weekly would be weird in a way.
Yeah, but like I guess
if I play,
I know in the NBA, I think they pay bi-weekly.
Okay,
but they don't say how much you earn bi-weekly. They just say the yearly amount. But that's also for the cost cap reasons and stuff.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, like football finances, I'd love to like really talk to someone about it and know about it, because it's ludicrous.
Because
like,
any financial advisor they would go crazy.
Anything goes.
Because anything and everything.
Because like you said before about how football grew from like really traditional grassroots, it's grown so gradually to where we've been doing the same things for so long. Like it's just been the best players of the local town playing.
And we assume this model is known because it's been around for so long. And then
sometime around like maybe the late 80s, the thing just blew up and people started getting paid real money. Generational money. But what else do we have? Is that it? Super League. You're really not scared?
I'll tell you the truth. Obviously, like I don't like it, but a majority, if I had to guess on what I've seen on social media and where I'm hearing in general, it seems like around the world, not just in mainstream media, not what Gary Neville has said on Sky Sports, what the fans are saying in England, around the world, this seems more favorable than the current system we have now. There are
don't fuck with football. Like they don't like football like that.
Football
people don't watch football like
that. I could be considered. I'm my.
We are weirdos.
We're like almost mid-20s. Like for us, we're more old school because people generally who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they watch the sport, but they don't watch it as in a way that younger people would because they have life, a real life. We're almost not old school based, even being in your 20s.
Yeah.
Because when we grew up, watching something in entirety was normal. We watched movies a lot more than kids do now. We watched TV. We watched 5-minute ad breaks. We consumed we consumed hours and hours of ads. So like we're more used to. And even now, we still have problems with concentrating.
Yeah.
And it just not to say too much, but this kind of TikTok shorts, all that kind of stuff kind of contribute to young people not being able to watch the sport. Which is actually okay. Like it is what it is. Yeah. Like I like to complain and do the whole old boomer thing, but even though I'm young as hell, but it is true. Like people just don't like watching long things, and even Mr. Perez himself, Florentino Perez, said young people don't like football, so we should reduce the game in half.
Like that's why this thing is so like that quote so dumb. Like they don't. Okay, so like you don't have to.
It's not relevant.
Is it by force?
It's not because it goes into the growth thing. It's like it doesn't have to keep on like certain people will watch football, certain people won't. You work with those numbers that you have and make the sport better for the people who are watching. I'm so sorry. Like what they want, the idea. I know the idea. They've actually told me. They actually sent me a text recently.
Cool.
So what they're doing is that they're focusing now on planet Earth. And then they have a project that it's in 2070. Gonna branch out to Mars. Next planet, forever.
Okay.
But the world is ever expanding. Not the world. The universe is ever expanding.
SpaceX.
Remember? SpaceX. They're gonna connect.
Okay.
If the universe is ever expanding, and every single day we find multiple galaxies and multiple people, I could trillions of people. No, I'm saying trillions of people who can watch the game of football. That's the goal.
Yeah.
So right now, let's see, 1 billion people on the earth are consuming football semi-regularly. We can increase that number to 17.5 quintillion. Quintillion trillion.
But like this is what I'm saying. Like
that's my point. No, I mean,
no,
I'm serious.
Sport is sport. Like, what do you want? Do you want to change rules? That's kind of you have to work within the mediums you're given. Like, you want to change rules. You want to make it shorter. You want to make each goal count for 2. Like, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do,
and we have to find our resources because we're on planet Earth. Like, there's only so much money can be squeezed out of anything. Because and also like every single rich person in the world knows that there's no number, there's no this is like a means to end. No, there's no number that's enough. You think Elon Musk is gonna go, I have it's 80 billion. That's it. No, they're gonna keep on going because this makes no difference. Because after the Super League in 50 years' time, they're gonna go, we're not extracting enough money. How do we get more money out of this? Yeah. Like, keep going and going for forever and ever. Because like, there's no number. They're not gonna say, how much money did the clubs need to make a year? 5 billion. They're not gonna say, that's good. We'll keep that like that. No, they're gonna keep on going back again and again and again and keep on going. No, we need to make more money.
You know what, Mo? Fuck that. I've got a better perspective. Let me tell you what Tony Kroos said.
Oh, Tony Kroos, he's really on.
Let me tell you what Tony Kroos said.
He plays professional football, so he has to have a based opinion.
Let me tell you. Tony Kroos says, I am very excited. I'm sure that many clubs that have backed down will open up much more to this. I don't think the initial idea was really good. It's communicated abruptly. That's the problem. It's communicated.
Yeah, it's communication. Abruptly. Communication is very important.
But it was abrupt.
It was abrupt.
Keyword was abrupt.
Don't forget that.
It was too sharp. Like, it should have been maybe a press conference or something a bit more official. Yeah. They just put it. Elite, didn't it? Elite.
That's the reason why.
There's more. Wait. Well, we already discussed the loss of passion for football. I believe that Super League has a chance to reverse that. That loss of passion.
Young people.
See, these are the key buzzwords. See, I'm sure him and Paris have had long convos about this. Yeah. So, more. That there will be more enthusiasm again, just because of the games that we'll see there. This is the crux of his argument. Many people always say, you want to see Real Madrid versus Man City every week.
But
have you gotten tired of watching Federer versus Nadal over and over again? When was the last time you saw Federer play at Nadal? That was a while ago. Damn, it was Federer.
Yeah, it was hard.
But have you ever gotten tired of seeing them play?
Never. Did you play every?
Yes or no?
No, I can't. How can I?
There you go. You want to see Federer and Nadal play every week.
No, that's actually a good point.
No, facts.
Because football and tennis are the exact same.
Why is it okay for UEFA to introduce a Nations League that no one needs? Yeah. Suddenly, no one asks them about it.
And because, obviously everyone loves UEFA, famously. We love UEFA. We all love UEFA. Who doesn't love UEFA? Come on.
It doesn't. That's why I think it's incredibly important to listen to other proposals, like the Super League. Tony.
Did he cook?
Did
he cook?
To be fair, like he cooked, man. He ate there.
He ate. Cooked and he ate.
That's a fair enough argument. Nadal versus Federer, and Nations League. Who gives UEFA the right to just pop in there?
And as you know, everybody who is opposed to the Super League loves UEFA. Of course, you remember. UEFA are known to be super popular, not shady or corrupted off. So FIFA. Because we're on FIFA's side, we love FIFA. We love FIFA, we love UEFA. Don't forget that. If you're listening,
we love FIFA.
We love FIFA and we love UEFA.
Yeah.
And most importantly, when Chelsea are playing Bournemouth, I'm like, let me turn this off. Who cares about these small teams? Who cares? Leicester win the Premier League, forget about that. Forget about them. But who cares about these small teams? Or Brighton or Brighton. Okay, Villa better than Chelsea as well. Okay, that's a anomaly. That's only Newcastle. Okay, that's only 5. Okay, 1 teams again. That's half the league. Forget about these small teams. Apart from all the teams I just named there. And
Villa are third in the league right now.
Okay, Girona,
they're small.
Girona don't count.
Girona,
they don't count. Okay,
why not?
Because I say so. We can't include them as well.
Yeah. You're right.
They don't count as well. Okay, all those teams. Okay, small teams apart from the 30 teams I mentioned there, they don't count. Who cares about them? All I care about is the big teams.
No, but remember, they expanded the thing, so there's going to be some of those.
Oh, they could
teams.
get in. Meritocracy.
So
they could theoretically get in.
Even though what Tony Kroos is saying kind of contradicts the new proposal, they're still bringing the smaller teams. So there's some credibility to that.
Yeah.
Well, I love that Tony said this, because I'm calling Tony now to disrespect him, because I'm happy he's exposed himself, because this is a thing of him not coming out.
This is something that no one talks about. This guy, he has an opinion about everything. He's like some kind of right wing, like American.
I didn't know about this until maybe like last
he's
year.
like a right wing American TV pundit. I've been hitting him for years because something will happen and he'll find a way to have an opinion about it. How do you have that many opinions about things? Like what? Like
exactly.
How doesn't he have his own podcast? I'd love to get him on here, just completely roast him. That's a whole other thing. How does he have that many opinions? Like I remember Aubameyang did a celebration. He wore a Spider-Man mask. He complained to the this was years, like 6-7 years ago. He said, "Oh, it's bad for the sport." I don't bring an English accent for him. I'm not gonna do the German accent because it's I get cancelled because it's really racist.
Yeah.
It's bad for the kids. It's bad for even if it was bad for the kids. Like how do you have an opinion about a Spider-Man mask?
Spider-Man.
Ooh, I'm thinking
because he's done Batman.
Because I know he's done Batman before. He did Spider-Man Batman. Because I'm thinking of Batshuayi. Okay, let's say Batman and Spider-Man mask. Either way, bad for kids. Like what? Even if it was bad for kids, like who's having these opinions?
Anyway,
this guy was the guy criticizing his own teammate at Nazareth because he was injured and saying, like, even if there was a realistic,
that was disgusting.
Even if there was a realistic criticism about Hazard, you play for his team. Like, since when the players come out and go play them out their own players in public? When has that ever happened before? Like,
he might have retired.
How would you have that many opinions that you're just going, this player, he's not working hard enough. If he's injured, that's his problem. When it comes to the biggest club in the world, you need to not be injured.
I wonder,
like what?
Does he have mates? Like, do people in the dressing room really like? Especially now that Real team is so young now.
Yeah.
Like, do people mess with him like that? I wonder, because
he's definitely banned. He's banned from mobile phones.
If I see Vinny Jr. and posting a selfie with him, I'd throw him in that.
Yeah, I'm not asking his thoughts.
I know Jude would.
I'm not asking his thoughts on racist.
But should we?
It's just the 1%.
Should we wrap this up?
Now I want to talk more shy about Tony Kroos. Now what else do we have? Honestly?
No, because I want to wrap it up with a solution, so to speak. How football can kind of, and let's put the world aside. We can't change the world.
Yeah.
Not now. Maybe by episode like 300 or something like that. Maybe we probably will.
For sure.
But how we can change football for the better, and how we can get out of this mindset of trying to just improve and buy and equating money to
success.
To success, exactly. I mean, you're a Chelsea fan, you know all about that.
And don't call me Chelsea fan. Don't insult me like that.
Everything, I feel like everything just goes back to Chelsea.
Right? Yeah, because we're a clown show of a club.
You just got so much going on. But anyway, the solution for me would be I've always said this about transfers these days, but back when Liverpool were trying to get 6 and we were looking to spend like 100 million on Caicedo and
Caicedo. Mid. So bad at football. Oh my effing god, man. It's so bad. So I know this is completely irrelevant. But like, oh my god, Caicedo is so bad. He's so average. Like,
he's just fine. Actually, a bit worse than that. But like, I just feel like just scout. Just the great thing about football is that everyone plays it. It's so easy and accessible to play. There's players all over the world who are fire.
So many people, so many players in the world. And we have 8 billion people. It's a cap of around 13 billion in a few years. Like, you have so many random ass. There women right now who are popping out 14 kids, and 11 of those kids are gonna be really athletic and coordinated. Like, like the amount of random kids in these countries.
I didn't know that's where you're gonna go.
I know, and neither did I. But
Fair,
there
fair.
are so many people in the world who, given proper opportunities, basic training facilities, literally just basic training facilities, football boots, footballs, a pitch that doesn't have loads of rocks and sand all over it,
Yeah.
just like a grass, like a little just grass surface in like an astroturf.
Mm.
And setting up, not that they do this already. I can't say like they do set up little camps around across the world.
Yeah, cute little charity case.
So yeah,
Cute
a
little
lot of
tax
that
write-offs.
just tax write-offs and all those different things. So players to go and visit and sponsors and everything. But they like the point is that the talent isn't just limited in their country and their immediate academy. They have a whole world of resources to
No,
go
you
through.
can't tell me that there isn't some random 16-year-old, some tall, skinny, malnourished 16-year-old from Senegal who isn't better than Declan Rice. I mean,
You said it.
I mean, another.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna say mid, but
Yeah, but no, yeah, he's not mid.
Fine.
He's decent.
He's fine.
Like it's fine.
But my point, like spending 100 mil on a CDM in itself is crazy.
Yeah.
But there's just so many players out there that you just need to just invest in.
And let's just say, for example, that ex-16-year-old Senegalese kid named Idrissa
Diaby. Idrissa
Diaby. Dembele. Oh, I love those names so much. That's how I'm gonna name my kid. Diarra Dembele Sako. Saka? Whatever. Yeah, that's how he played for West Ham, yeah. But if that hypothetical kid does become some kind of world-class player, he's not going to come through Chelsea's academy and be world-class. He's going to bounce around the continent of Africa, bounce around Europe, and eventually gets picked up for Chelsea for like £200 million. Whatever, like you say, this guy's 16, so probably by that time, £200 million.
Yeah.
When Chelsea or X team could just have developed them themselves and not have to spend 200 million. Like, by developing your grassroots, there is no need to open a market up and spend loads of money. This stuff is completely unsustainable, unnecessary.
Yeah.
If you develop the players you have, like even I would actually propose, they do have the homegrown. The homegrown doesn't really mean anything.
The homegrown rules.
You must have at least 2 players from the academy playing at all. No, I mean like starting games, no matter what the situation is. If academy player gets injured, take another academy player. Like there's talent out there, but because everything is so money driven, they're too afraid. The risk and the benefits, like, oh, I don't know if you'll do well enough. But every team has to have. You must start 2 academy players and have like 5 in the squad.
I look at Brighton, and
if Brighton are doing that,
Brighton, but this isn't what you think I'm going to say. Like Brighton, they're so good at their scaling and all that.
Yeah, of course, famously.
And they replaced Caicedo and McAllister with 2 randomers from South America.
Randomers
who are okay.
Yeah,
they're not even like Baleba. He's young, so we'll see. But he's okay. I don't think he should be starting. I don't think he's that good. But the fact that Brighton, their scouting networks are so extensive that they can get players who are highly rated, but at the same time, you still feel like they could do better, which is and they probably will because they're really about that life. So I respect that. Yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, but maybe he's okay. Even I think about the right winger, he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of the things. If you gave Brighton or Dortmund half the resources that Chelsea had, or Lyon, like just they'd be winning.
Lyon, the amount of players
they or Benfica, they'd be winning the Champions League every single year.
Yeah,
they would name the Champions League after them. Like they would win it every single year. But a lot of these teams kind of they're not run properly, and they feel the only way to get better is to go, oh, we have a world-class player playing in midfield, sign another one. How will they fit together? It doesn't matter. Let's sign another one. So what happens to a £70 million player who's still on the bench and his value is going to go to like nothing, and we can't get rid of him? Roy for another day.
No, but it's simple math. So if the more world-class players you have, the better you'll be.
And another thing I didn't even mention, something that's actually kind of important, is that in order for a team to splash their cash, they need cash. They need money.
Mm.
Teams don't have that much money.
Yeah.
They don't have
No.
they don't have liquidity in the club. They don't have cash flow.
Mhm.
Because when they sign a player or when they sell a player, they don't get the money immediately. And a lot of the money they have, it's locked in assets and locked in players. They don't actually have the money in their hands. So when they have to buy a player, where do they go? They have to go get a loan, and they can't go to a bank because banks don't want to be involved in it with this because it's completely
Why would
unsustainable.
they?
Why would they want to go near football clubs? Let's get these high interest loans.
They look at all the books like this
Like,
is too weird. You're giving me a headache. Leave me alone.
They go get
Get out of my office.
they go high interest loans in order to get cash.
Yeah.
And those by the time those things get paid off, they spend another 8, 9, 10%. Huge interest rates.
Mm.
Like there is literally zero way. There's no way for football to be sustainable without just developing the grassroots.
Yeah, you need to start from the ground up and just be a bit more. Just be smarter. Like it's so simple. I don't know. I don't know why. Why do you even like spending so much money? Like it does not give you a headache.
No, like every single Chelsea
These
fan.
players aren't even that good.
As a Chelsea fan, every single transfer window, I get anxiety. I was like, just leave the team out, invest in the youth. We have so many talented players. Just
Chelsea's academy.
It's
like,
stupid.
It's fact that it's right there with for you guys. Fair enough, Liverpool. We have to spend money because our academy is
not as good.
It's not as good. That's
I'm just being nice, but
it's poor.
But just to round it up, I think this is just one issue that people are complaining about now, and it's reasonably so. There's going to be the next thing.
Yeah.
And it sounds so funny, but once the day we get to fucking Mars, let's get a game on Mars. Like there's gonna be something again and again and again. It's gonna keep on happening. The game's gonna continuously get worse and worse.
Mm.
I don't know how you still watch this game.
Yeah, man, like I said, I'm a weirdo. Like I really, really like watching football, but because
I don't.
There are so many players out there that no one really cares about. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the guy who's going to watch like some mid-table team in France. Well, depends on the mid-table team it is, because some teams just aren't doing well.
And also, just like time constraints.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. You don't even have to go that far. Like, there's so many good young players in France.
Yeah,
you just have to look.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I don't know. It's getting bad. I can't really see, what we've been talking about. I can't really see that happening. Teams really investing in.
No, I don't think it'll happen unless there's like rules. You must have 5.
That's the
players, which
I have to.
The thing is that actually benefits both parties.
Yeah,
because it actually benefits them, but they don't know anything about football.
Oh,
so that's
obviously not.
So that's a whole nother conversation.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for listening. This has been our 5th pod. Hopefully more in the future.
Yeah.
It becomes a regular occurrence because, like, as you see, we're fire. Like, I was the word fire in so long.
Please like, subscribe.
Make sure you like, subscribe, follow. Tell your uncles, auntie, your cousins' friends. Tell all of them.
Merry Christmas.